Hello everyone, we are here for another Modern League, and this time we're playing Ad Nauseam for real. Um, I know a lot of the time I've described videos as something nauseum, and often they are tangentially related at best nowadays, maybe some sort of Oracle Spoils combo, maybe some sort of inverter deck. But I figured I just want to play a pretty stock list of the current iterations of Ad Nauseam and see how it goes. Now, I don't necessarily think that this is in the best spot at the moment. I think that the direction for Ad Nauseam does need to fundamentally change going forward in some way, and that's something I'll continue to work on in the future. But at the moment, I will give this my best shot. I have a bunch of experience, a bunch of reps with more traditional versions of Ad Nauseam, but this is pretty similar. So let's hop into a league and see how it goes. Okay, so round number one. Let's see what our opening hand is. We're on the play. That is a big deal. The version that I'm playing is a Lotus Bloom version. I do want to just kind of test that out. I think that is the closer to the sort of more stereotypical list. I also think there's not that much Teferi running around right now. So maybe the time is ripe for that. I mean, here we have two of our combo pieces, a Thoughtseize to interact, a Wondering to stall. Our opponent is on Obosh. I am going to go ahead and keep this. So on turn one, we have Swamp Thoughtseize, and we're just looking for another land, and then maybe we can, either find a Grace naturally, or use the ring to find Grace. Profane Tutor would also be acceptable. So let's see what our opponent is working with and take away something that will probably cause the most damage to us. They've got two Swift Spears, a Goblin Guide, a Lava Spike, and a Lightning Bolt. Their hand is very aggressive. I don't like this at all. Probably, I mean, the Swift Spears probably represent the most damage, so I'm going to take a Swift Spear. We do need to find some sort of, white card as soon as possible. I let them have the Goblin Guide, even though that does represent more damage on turn one, for the possibility of drawing us a land. So we do need a land. Preordain is an okay draw. We can Mono-R Preordain next turn. Being on the play is huge here. So Mono-R, Preordain, and we're looking for, Unlife would be okay. Pathway, I think we're likely to hit another land, so I'm not necessarily going to take this, even though we do need a fourth land. Pact is not what we need. If we had to, we could play Oracle as a blocker. Let's see what this Goblin Guide shows us. So it's going to be Swift Spear, and then it's going to be hit us with like a Lava Spike. Hit us for 7, we go to 9. There's a decent chance we're dead next turn, which would be very unfortunate. Our opponent just had a very aggressive hand. If they had fewer creatures, we maybe could have taken a creature. Oh, Angel's Grace. Okay, so that's good. We need that. The problem is, mutagenic. Okay, let's see. So we're taking 7 and going to 6. So it'll be 3. Ooh, we're dead. We're definitely just dead. They have the turn 3 here. We can Pact and hope to top deck a land. So we can Pact their Lava Spike. But so they would have only 4 damage following that. But I can't afford to burn the Angel's Grace this turn. So I need them to not... And yeah, so we have to Pact and we have to top deck a land. And it specifically has to be a untapped land. And specifically, it can't be a black. Well, we don't have any other purely black sources. Okay, so land. So let's see what they reveal for us. Lotus Bloom. So we are dead. Are in fact 1000% dead. Yeah, we'll let that go. They're going to go for it. Interesting. I mean, we're still super dead, but I don't know why they wouldn't. Oh wait, oh, because they're gonna bolt us on like end step here. I mean, this kind of just gives us a. Oh no, because we have to burn Grace on our upkeep though. Yeah, they made a mistake here, and we should have been able to survive this, but instead. All right, fine. No, we'll scoop it. They should have done that on their turn, forced the pact, and then we would have had to Grace, and we're just dead. And this is a good matchup, so we're going to bring in Unlife, bring in Ley Lines. We don't need these Pact of Negations. They could definitely have a Blood Moon, so that's just something to be a little bit mindful of. Thoughtseize is not what we need either. Push is okay, Ending is okay. So, you know, we can take that, but really we just kind of want to be our fast combo deck selves. We all play an Ending over the push. I could bring in a Spell Pierce, but I think we're just not going to respect Blood Moon. And we will keep this. I mean, this is effectively a Mull to 6, but we have an Unlife, which is a very strong piece against them, and we have a couple cantrips. So that's nice. So Profane Tutor is good. We do want that. We can suspend that next turn. And then that's another combo piece. And then we need to find either a Spoils or an Oracle. They're probably going to have a creature here. Okay, Bomat Courier. That's not a particularly scary creature. So we're looking for turn 2 Profane, turn 3 Unlife. Okay, land is a decent pickup. And I mean, we'll play the Unlife on 3, and then we maybe end up in a spot. Well, actually think about playing the Profane depending on what we draw. They have whatever this is. Whenever it deals combat damage, return a land to your hand. Sure, that seems not good. They're not attacking with it because they don't want to return the land. Feels like they maybe have Blood Moon. But again, we're just not respecting that. It is what it is. Unlife. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and play this Unlife. And the question is, what do we get with the Profane Tutor? I'm thinking probably Spoils, because Spoils can represent Oracle or Spoils if we draw a second Spoils. Oh, no Blood Moon. Okay. So let's see what they do. I mean, they hit us with Guide Beast now. So maybe they wanted the second land in play. I mean, they have these Bomat Couriers that they could draw some cards with. Or they hit us to 13. Our means of evading Blood Moon would be Pentad. Unless we draw specifically... Oh yeah, I do want to cast this, yes. So unless we draw specifically Oracle, we're not going to be able to get it this turn with a land. So we're just going to be a little bit, yeah, a little bit short. Okay, so we preordain. Let's see what we find. Okay, Oracle is good. Can play a Dark Slick Shores. So as long as they do not have Blood Moon, we get this next turn. Hopefully their hand is just full of burn that this Leyline of Sanctity is blanking. Note that they didn't crack a Bomat on end step or anything like that, and they're going to have to return a land here, so this probably takes Blood Moon off the table, which is basically the only thing I'm concerned about right now. Alright, perfect. So we will play our Oracle. Trigger on the stack, we can play the Spoils. An argument to be made, we should have slighted first, but what would we really have found? Nothing. We name our Fallen friend, Simian Spirit Guide, as is tradition. And we win. Alright. So we are 1-1. On the draw, am I more interested in Spell Pierce, or am I interested in just continuing to disrespect Blood Moon? I'm also a little more interested in removal on the draw. Got these pushes, got these endings. Ending is a little bit nice in that it can be removal for Blood Moon as well. Wandering feels a little bit slow on the draw. Maybe cut a slight. Oh, a Spell Pierce. I think we're just gonna play around it with Pentad Prism and Lotus Brewing if we need to. But we'll go a little bit heavier on removal, because they could definitely just have a fast hand that kills us. I mean, yeah, we keep this. Keep this. We put a Leyline into play. Lotus Bloom is a good pickup. We do need a black card, but that's okay. Getting the land is nice. We have the turn 1 Bloom, which is useful here. Ooh, and we're going to get the turn 2 Suspend Profane Tutor. So we are all set up for a turn 4 here. We could potentially even stall turn 3 with an Angel's Grace if we need to, if we don't draw a land, or we could play Unlife if we do. I feel like we may need to stall it with a land, because holy crap, that's a lot of Goblin Guides. They're going to hit a 6 here. We're going to draw all of the lands. Okay, Gemstone Mine. What's on top now? Oh, Spoils. Oh, I mean, Spoils is lovely. So, I mean, now we do have our combo. They could hit a 6. I mean, if they have, like, a pile of creatures, there's a world where we need to Grace. But if we Grace, we can't Unlife next turn. On the other hand, if they were to, like, untap and play a Blood Moon, there is a world where I need this Profane on 4 in order to get a Pentad Prism. So I am going to suspend this Profane. And if they have triple 2-power creature, then they get us. I mean, what are the odds? They have to have land and then 3 2-power haste creatures. There's no way. Yeah, Seal Fire doesn't do anything. Lotus Bloom? Okay, I mean, Lotus Bloom is not what we need, but I'm feeling like we're in a pretty good spot overall here. So I'm happy about that. We put our triggered abilities onto the stack. So I'm going to play the City of Brass here, suspend the Bloom, and we can play Unlife. So this means that even if they have some sort of artifact removal for our Lotus Bloom in our upkeep, we still have the ability to play Oracle Spoils. And they're not going to hit us to, 0 before these Goblin Guides attack. So I feel relatively safe right now. We can also, I mean, if they have, yeah, so if they have Blood Moon, we're still okay because we have Bloom, and then we can Profane for a Pentad, and then like make 3 blue, and then Pentad off of 1 blue and 1 red land. And so we'll be in okay shape there. But we're not actually going to draw that Angel's Grace because our Profane is going to come off Suspend. So I am going to stack the Bloom triggers. Actually, I should have stacked them the other way. We'll cast Profane. What do I actually need here? I'm going to get a Gemstone so I have the ability to just win here in, well, yeah, I'm going to get a Gemstone. in case they blow up the bloom and maybe have some sort of answer in mono red for Leyline, or for Unlife, I mean, which is not really possible. Just not rely on this bloom. Okay, so here is where we have blue, we have Oracle. We're gonna let it resolve. That's totally fine. We're gonna float 3 black. They should have done that in our upkeep. Spoils. That's also totally fine. Doesn't do anything. And they have, okay. We have Simian Spirit Guide. And we have defeated the might of Triple Goblin Guide. Ad Nauseam was the bottom card of our deck. They're Seal Firing themselves to continue to take more game actions, I guess. Alright, round number 1 is in the books. Ad Nauseam is still pretty good against Burn, who would have thought? Second round, we have a hand that has 2/3 of the combo pieces, 3 lands in the ring. Hey, this is some deja vu. We're going to keep this. I can play one of these oracles as a scry if needed. Our opponent is playing the mono black deck. So I'm... Oh wait, that's red. Red. I mean, okay. Interesting. So we're going to lead on Gemstone Mine. Kind of keep our options open as far as what I want to do with this pathway, and then sort of minimize the amount of damage I'm taking off of the City of Brass if we are potentially playing against a red deck. This could be some sort of... Okay, interesting. I mean, I'm happy I have 3 basics. So we will go get an island. Yeah, so I mean, I think not every list runs 3 basics, but our opponent is playing like some sort of land destruction galore deck, probably. That like is like the semi-Ponza thing. I'm gonna play the Clearwater pathway, figuring that I can always get a swamp with something that's destroyed. I'm also going to play an Oracle for a little bit of scry. How do I feel about these? Do I want a Seachrome Coast? I think I will take a Seachrome Coast. So I still have 2/3 of combo pieces, but also that means I can potentially end up in a situation where I like Ad Naus plus Grace off of the Bloom Unlife, or they just Demolition Field me now and then I don't draw the land, but I'm okay with that too. We got a Plains. And do they have more? They do. Okay. We've got 8 million land destructions. I'm very happy we have that Bloom on suspend. We are now, however, out of basic lands, so if they continue to have more land destruction, they could definitely kill us. Profane Tutor, not a bad pickup against, you know, a pile of land destruction here. Maybe we'll get him over 20 turns with the Stas's Oracle. Seems unlikely. So when does... Okay, so my Bloom and Profane are both in 2 turns. Seasoned Pyromancer. Alright, that's totally fine. So, I mean, lands to play the ring would be nice here. But as it stands, we will have all of the pieces next turn, or the turn after, even if they kill a land. Haywire, they don't have green. Okay. It's interesting. Okay, City is, again, not bad. It means we get to play the ring. And that also means that they're probably going to prioritize killing this ring with Haywire Might if they need to, which I'm totally okay with, because I'd rather them kill the ring than kill our Lotus Bloom. So I'm going to draw the card now so that they don't like play a green, and then we have this awkward like in response situation. Seachrome is actually not a bad draw, because let's say they kill 2 lands. Having another one that comes into play untapped here could be relevant. Yeah, see, so they do get the, yeah, but they're like, oh man, we have to kill the ring. However, the ring doesn't matter in this circumstance. You can make like a Saga Construct. Bolting the Thassa's Oracle also doesn't matter. You can't have another Field of Ruin. So I'm feeling relatively good about this. Alright, so we're going to put Bloom under Profane. With Profane, we can cast it and we can search. And we do actually have an Ad Nauseam line here, because we have 7 mana in play with our 4 lands plus Bloom, and then we can play an 8th mana. So we can get a Pact of Negation and protect our Ad Nauseam line / our Bloom, or we could get a Spoils of the Vault, and then it doesn't matter if this Bloom dies, because we just have Grace Oracle. They're not going to have instant speed land destruction. They see our deck either way. I think the Pact line is safer. We can even Gnaws in upkeep if we needed to, so it actually doesn't even matter if they kill our Bloom. Alright. So now we have 1 for an Angel's Grace. Can't respond. We need to not leave the swamp up, notably. But then we will play a land that makes blue for our turn here. So we're playing good old-fashioned Ad Nauseam. We would like to repeat this process. Draw our entire deck. We have Pacts in hand. It's been a while since I've done this, clicking through an entire deck with Ad Nauseam. They get to see our whole deck either way, so I'm relatively okay with, you know, normally if I could, I'd like to try and hide the information so that they don't know like how many basics we have, which could actually be very relevant information. But again, they get to see our whole deck either way, so it doesn't really matter. So we'll take a damage off City. Oracle is resolving. Bolt us or something, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to Unholy Heat it. I'm going to Pact it here, because maybe they're Unholy Heating it because they don't know how it works. So this might keep information hidden from them. Okay. So. Yeah, again, maybe they don't know how it works, so I don't mind that. Okay, so what do we want? Unlife, good against red decks. Spell Pierce, probably good against the pile of land destruction they have. Probably don't need all these pacts. I will keep 1 just in case, because I think there is definitely a world where it could be useful. Not necessarily as interested in Leyline. Don't need Dramoka. Ending, they could have a hate piece or something like that, so maybe we bring in an ending. Cut like a slide or 2. Actually, Unlife is not at its best here because they do have Haywire Might. Actually, maybe we don't bring in the second Unlife. Yeah. I mean, maybe their mights get overtaxed. Okay, yeah, maybe their mights get overtaxed by everything we have, and so Unlife is good. Could also think about like another ending if that's our plan. I don't know. Maybe just having one as the option to get it with a Profane if we need it. I mean, this is okay. This is okay. Pact is good. We have Force of Will. So we have turn 2 Profane, turn 3 Pentad, or something like that. This is looking like. And then maybe into a turn 4 win, hopefully. So Darkslick Shores. We're not going to need to Force of Will anything on turn 2. Note we have none of our basics, so not having our basics in hand is definitely useful when playing against like a land destruction type of thing. Yeah, so I mean, sure, you can Demolition Field us. We don't care. They need to do this 4 times before it matters. Well, the first 3 times it doesn't matter. On the 4th time it does matter. But we have a decent amount of mana. We have 3 other lands. We have a Pentad Prism, so I mean... Okay, so they have a Haywire Might. That's a little bit annoying because it can eat our Prism. So, I mean, drawing more lands is kind of decent in that spot. We can suspend the Profane. And now what we're really looking for is either Oracle or Spoils. So if they Demolition Field our Courtyard, again, I'm totally okay with that. We'll get an island here. And they Cleansing Wildfire Swamp. Alright, so they've got all of the land destruction. We get a Plains. I mean, that is definitely a little bit annoying. But having a Profane ticking is good. Preordain. I'm going to do that before I play my land just to see what we get. Ooh, okay, so Spoils and Oracle is both excellent. So I'm going to put both of these on top. We're going to draw one, and then we're going to play the Darkslick Shores. And then we're going to go ahead and play this Pentad Prism. And this kind of puts the question to them of, like, do they want to kill this Pentad Prism, or is it bait? The Profane potentially can find us a land if they, like, eat our lands too much, or it potentially finds an Oracle if they make us shuffle. They have Krenko's Buzz Crusher. For each player. Okay, I mean, that's, like, totally fine. It's a 4-mana Field of Ruin me. I would like to not search. They're hitting us with Haywire Might, but, like, if they could have played that and hit us with Haywire Might, they actually could have stalled us for a turn. In that case, I would have pacted. Actually, did I? Maybe? Yeah, no, this is okay. Oh, actually, no, we do have to get the Oracle here because we're going to shuffle with the Profane. Okay, so we draw for turn. We can play a City of Brass. We can play a Thassa's Oracle. We will let it resolve, and then in response, holding priority, Spoils, holding priority, Angel's Grace. We have the Pact as backup if we need it. Name the traditional Simian Spirit Guide. And would you look at that? We are 2-0. Again, we played against... Well, this wasn't really a red deck in the sense that this is what Adnos is traditionally good against. And we played against the land destruction deck and won. And we just happened to draw hands that had good mana. All right, let's go to the next. Okay, so we are on the play. And we have a pretty nice hand. We have some fast mana. We have a Profane Tutor. We are missing a combo piece, but I'm going to keep this. So we have a turn 1 Seachrome suspend Lotus Bloom. Turn 2 we will suspend our Profane Tutor. Then turn 3 will be a Pentad Prism in all likelihood. Turn 1 Forest, we like to see that. Elvish Mystic, that's pretty okay. This could be, I guess, if this is Ponza, I would be like, what, 2 land destruction decks in a league? But, I mean, I don't think it's Ponza. So we'll suspend the Profane. Next turn, we have the interesting choice of, do we Oracle looking for... No, but the Profane is going to be gone. Okay, so it is just Elves. So we're really playing against the Brews today. This is definitely a competitive league that I picked, but, I mean, people say leagues are noise. I mean, they do have potentially some sort of fast turn 2 start here, which is a little scary. They don't have the ability to pay the green for this, so I like that. And we actually could be in a little bit of trouble. Let's see what we draw. Spoils. Okay, perfect. So we are just fine if we live the turn. And with that in mind, I'm going to play this Pentad. A, to maybe make them think it matters. And then I'm going to play the Oracle just as a blocker. They know what we're playing, so it's not like that matters. I will put that on top, even though it does not matter in the slightest, because we're going to shuffle with the Profane Tutor. Wynn's Elite. Alright, so, I mean, they have a ton of Elves, a ton of mana. We have 20 life. They have to kill us here, otherwise we just have the win. So let's see if they can do it. They're making mana. Collected Company. Yeah, I mean, this is not looking like death yet. That's pretty powerful, though. They would still need to tap so many in order to make something happen with War Master. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Actually, so playing the Oracle as a blocker was essential. Otherwise, we were dead. So that's pretty cool. Now we can get the Angel's Grace. Bloom comes in, although we don't even need it. And so here we'll go 1, 2, Oracle. Oh wait, we're in our upkeep. All right, go to draw. Now we'll go 1, 2, Oracle. I'm not thought seizing first, just because there's really no need. 1 card in hand, endurance or whatever, it doesn't matter. So we'll let the Oracle resolve. Stack the spoils. Stack the grace. Name the traditional Simian Spirit Guide. And we're up a game against Elves. Nice stuff. And they had a pretty fast start, so I'm pretty happy we beat that. We want our removal, ending, Fatal Push. Unlife can be okay, but it can also just be too slow, or like something that they can hit us through. Thoughtseize is really not what this is about. Pact of Negation. Maybe we want 1 as like a fetchable target. They could have like endurance or something like that. So we will just leave 1 of them. Then maybe we trim a slight. We don't have as much time to be messing around with cantrips. We need to just get cards that do things down onto the table as soon as possible. So I mean, this hand is definitely good. It has the potential to win. I mean, if they like turn 3 us, we will lose, but I mean, that's the reality of life sometimes. So our opponent plays Nurturing Peatland, Llanowar Elves. I mean, they did mold a 6, so maybe they won't have a turn 3. Ending is perfect. That's exactly what we need to slow them down. I'm not worried about hitting, you know, a high value thing off of this. I'm literally just looking to make sure that I can play this on life on 3 without being dead yet. So I just need to slow them. And then the unlife should slow them another turn. Ooh, that's great. And if the unlife has slowed them another turn, we should be able to win on 4. So, I mean, and especially top decking that Profane, I feel like we're in very good shape here. Note that I played Gemstone Mine because my 3 uses of this Gemstone Mine are going to be this turn on 2, next turn for the Unlife on 3, and then on turn 4, using it for whatever my combo is. This way I'm taking 1 less damage from the City of Brass. Maybe that 1 point of life matters. Who knows? But the Gemstone Mine doesn't have any use past that point, so might as well use it if we can. The risk if you play Gemstone Mine earlier than something like City is that you run out of counters when you need them. But in this case, I've mathed it out. There's no real need for me to have those extra counters, so I just feel totally fine using a counter here. Our opponent's got a War Master, which, I mean, is a strong card. But they have yet to find another land, which I like. Since we've got our Unlife in play, we have 2 combo pieces. Profane can get us the Oracle. Or we could also think about going for an Adnaw's line, depending on how the mana shapes up. So they're hitting us with the War Master. They don't really have anything. Which means I'm probably going to go for an Adnaw's line here, because that way they could also force a Vigor. I actually should have stacked the Profane in the other order. Well, it's not like I can get a Pact anyway. If they have Force of Vigor, now is the time. They didn't. So now we're going to get Ad Nauseam. Go to draw. Okay. So we could die to Force of Vigor here. I think that's a risk that I'm willing to take. So we can go 3, 4, 5. We have no mana past this, so we can't really afford to Grace, but we do have 1 Pact of Negation in our deck. So if we have the Pact of Negation in our deck, now we are protected against Endurance, whereas had we gone for Oracle off of the Profane, we are not protected against Endurance. Now, had they blown up like our Unlife and Grace with Force of Vigor, or sorry, our Unlife and our Bloom with Force of Vigor in response to Pact, then I would have gotten Oracle and we could have gone for it, although we would have lost to Endurance. That being said, that was the time to blow things up, because if they didn't blow it up then, now I'm placing them on not having Force of Vigor. So with the Bloom, I don't mind going to go get Ad Nauseam. Even though technically, if they had the Force of Vigor and they played it late, they could have gotten us there. All right, 3-0 with quick 2-0 over Elves, round number 4. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we lose the die roll here, but our opening hand is pretty decent. We have a Profane Oracle, so we have 2/3 of the combo pieces. We have a Slight for a turn 1 play. Maybe we can find a Bloom, or maybe we can just use that to try and find a white card. Our opponent has mulligan to 5, so that is definitely good for us. All right, so let's see what they do. Mulligan to 5 could be like Tron, although Marsh Flats pass is this scam. This could also be Goryo's. I'm kind of leaning Goryo's. I don't like our chances against Goryo's. The discard is scary, and I'll take a Preordain. And the counter magic, they also have Force Negation. Bloom is a good start, though. It just gets us some mana. Mystical Archives, this is certainly feeling like Goryo's. Ditching a Watery Grave. I'm glad they didn't ditch a reanimation target. Now they have Swamp Archive. Bloom ticks down. We draw for turn. And we could suspend the Profane, which I think is what we're going to do. This kind of insulates us against discard a decent amount, because I can use these cantrips to find whatever ends up getting discarded. Doesn't really insulate us the best against counter magic, but it actually kind of does, because let's say I find my other pieces with these cantrips, then I can stack the Profane above the Bloom and potentially, if like, get a Pact of Negation if I need the Bloom, or use the Bloom to bait if I don't. So there's options there. Okay, so they're griefing. Probably take the Oracle here. One nice thing is that our hand is pretty mana intensive, so... Oh, they take the Preordain. That's interesting. They're taking our cantrips. And they're going to get another Grief Flicker next turn. So this may be a game where we Profane for the Ring, and then we see what happens based on that. They don't have the fastest clock, which is nice. We draw a Pentad Prism. I'm going to play the Gemstone Mine. I can play the Pentad Prism and let them take the Oracle. I think that is the better play because, well, it's a little bit tough. But if I kind of actually want as much mana as possible. The Oracle doesn't really matter if it's in my hand or in play. It's not like I can block this Grief anyway. This means that next turn I'm going to have 4, 5, 6. I'm going to have 9 mana. So I can potentially value Gnaws from 17 into the full combo in the same turn, which is definitely an interesting line. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand. So, what do they have? They've got a Polluted Delta. They could certainly have a Force of Negation. Okay, yeah, they didn't attack. Can't. All right, so really have an interesting question. What are we getting with this Profane? I think it's probably Ad Nauseam. The question is just, are we casting it now, or are we waiting like for their end step or something? Or if they do something important, I could value Gnaws to try and find a Pact, cast it then. I think the likelihood that they have a Force of Negation here is high enough that I'm not interested in casting it on our turn. They have 2 cards in hand that they're doing nothing with. And what are they doing? I mean, if they fetch with the Delta, well, no, if they fetch on my end step, I can't. So that's a little bit awkward. They could just sit here forever holding up 3 mana. That'd be a little annoying. The question here is, okay, no, so they let that resolve. Okay, we draw Oracle. That's not bad. I'm just going to pass. I don't see a reason to go for it here. If they go for another discard, then I will Gnaws in response. I'm not going to Gnaws here, even though they've potentially tapped off of Force of Negation, because I think it's pretty unlikely that they have Force Blue card. But, yeah, I'm not going to Gnaws there, just because I don't want to end up very low, get hit by the Grief. Well, maybe that actually was a window. Okay, one thing to note, they don't have 3 blue. So they can hit us with the Grief. And they have Archaeologist. So I'm going to respond to this trigger. Just because I think there's... Well... No, I'm going to burn a Pentad counter. So, yeah, this saves a little bit more mana in case I need to. Alright, so we're looking for a value Gnaws here. Unlife, Oracle. Thoughtseize is not what we need. Pact, Oracle. Spoils. Okay, so that should be it. I can go a couple more cards because it's not like my life total's under any threat. Or do I need to stop here? I could go a little bit more. All right, that's where we stop. We have Pact, which is good. And I mean, we do just kind of have all the pieces, so that's good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. So we do get to throw a Thoughtseize into there. They do Thoughtseize us. Now, I'm going to Pact this. Well, they have land. What they get? They get Ephemerate back. So if they have land and... If they have land and Ephemerate, they get us. Because then... Well, no, I think it's worth it. Yeah. Because if they do this and then they take like our spoils or something, we're just kind of beaten. But now here I can pay the Pact. Oh, but then I have to play the Unlife. This is okay. We can survive this. We will pay it. Go to our draw step. We draw another Pact. Suspend this, because why not? We'll play a Gemstone. Now, we're playing this Unlife. Unless we could also preordain looking for a Grace. So I like... And actually, no, because we don't have enough mana for that. Okay, so we play the Unlife. We could also play the Ring. That's so much more risky. But we could play the Pentad first and preserve an extra counter. Or we could Thoughtseize them. I think I'm more likely to Thoughtseize them. Alright, so we can play Unlife. We can Thoughtseize them, go to 0. They have Faithful Mending and they have Ephemerate. So Ephemerating our Oracle would be very annoying. Faithful Mending could do something, but it could also do nothing. They would need to draw for turn. No, they can't actually Goryo something back with that. So I'm just going to take the Ephemerate. And now we'll pass. So we are alive. It's always a good spot to be. Profane Tutors are going to be too slow and not needed. We don't really need... Well, maybe we need the Pentad. Get rid of a couple lands. Get rid of the Pentad. Don't need the second. Actually, no, maybe I should keep the second Oracle. Too late. Maybe we get rid of the Ring. We don't really need the Ring. Thoughtseize can... Well, maybe I should have actually ditched Thoughtseize over like... Well, no, I don't need second Oracle here, really. They could draw a discard spell, which would be annoying. That's maybe their best shot, draw and try and find a discard spell. If I do that, I have an interesting debate here of do I burn all 3 of my Gemstone Mines? Actually, no, it'd only be 2 of them. Then I definitely do burn that to pact something. It's not like they're going to kill me in 1 turn. See what they end up discarding, what they end up keeping. They'll have 1 card left in their hand afterwards. I think it pretty much has to be Thoughtseize for them to have a chance here, I think. And I suppose we could brick off of this Preordain and like never find another card that does anything. Alright. Okay, but they scoop. That was slightly premature, but I'm not complaining. So we want Spell Pierce. We probably want Leyline against Grief. What don't I need? I mean, like kind of all of my cards. Ending not as good. Jace? No, I don't feel like I need that. Dramoka? We want a Dramoka. They do have counter magic. What don't I need? Probably these slights. Pentad could get endinged. Maybe we have to play this a little bit slower. Dramoka might... if I'm not playing it here, like when am I playing Dramoka? Alright, fine. We bring in the Dramoka. And what else am I getting rid of? We trim a land on the draw. Trim a fast land. And I'm not really sure what else to cut here. Could go to 3 Leyline, but I don't think I like that. Leyline is like such a... it's really a card. Alright, maybe we cut a Preordain, which I don't feel good about, but I don't know what else to cut. Our opening hand here is... We have mana, we have 1 combo piece, but we don't really have any follow-up. If we find a Profane, this is potentially a Naws hand, and having the Spell Pierce is good, but I'm gonna mulligan that. This is not good either. We're gonna mulligan that. And we'll probably have to keep this at 5, and this is just worse than we had. So we have to ship Pact. We have to ship Naws, I think. And we have to... Naws is just too expensive here. Yeah, this is definitely worse than the 7 we had. But when we took our shot, and it just so happened that we missed. I am going to hold up Pierce on turn 1 here in case they have like a... Well, no, they're going to discard me before the Ephemerate. Yeah, this is all sorts of bad. I'm still going to hold up with the Pierce on turn 1. If it's Grief Ephemerate, we're just super dead here. Alright. Namo, Preordain, what we find. Thoughtseize is good, but we frankly just don't have time for it. I need to like find the ring or something. I mean, maybe I should have kept the Naws. It feels like with 3 lands and no fast mana, and knowing that I boarded out my Pentad Prisms, the chances of going into a value Naws just feel basically impossible. Our opponent goes for a Faithful Mending. Maybe they're going to go for like a Goryo's that we can pierce. That would be nice. Faithful Mending is card disadvantage. So that's, and I mean, yeah, so that's nice. But now they will presumably have something relevant in their graveyard. Commandeer. That's certainly a card. Something to watch out for. They could have another Faithful Mending. The second one is not card disadvantage. We are continuing to draw lands. I really wish we had that Adnals right now. Who's to know that we would have drawn lands for like 3 turns in a row, though. The life gain doesn't matter, at least off the Faithful Mending. The ditch to Goryo's. Still no Atraxa or anything like that. The Grievous jokes on them. We only have lands. Sure, they have an Archaeologist. Get back a Goryo's, or maybe the Commandeer. They take back a Teferi. Okay. And we can Thoughtseize them, take their Teferi, or whatever else is more relevant. So they have 2 Ephemerates, a Goryo's, an Ending, and a Teferi. None of these cards really do that much. I'm going to actually take the Teferi. Come on, ring. Or Naws. Although Naws is on the bottom, so it's come on, ring. Ephemerating the Archaeologist, that's fine. Maybe they like bring back the Teferi and try to replay it, and then we spell pierce it. They choose Force of Negation. Okay. So they don't have a blue card, notably, so they are reliant on hard casting this Force of Negation. However, we continue to draw lands. So, I mean, maybe one day we'll draw something that is not a land. But until that day arrives, flashing back a Faithful Mending. I think there's a decent chance that we, well, Basically, our play is to top deck the ring, and then Spell Pierce the Force of Negation. So if I use the Spell Pierce on that, even though the Spell Pierce is quickly becoming bad, we don't have a plan to win the game. So I can't really afford to Spell Pierce that, even though this very well may result in this Spell Pierce becoming useless. So I'm reliant on them tapping down a little bit of their mana, and then like not having a blue card. Although they picked up Tainted Indulgence, so now they have a blue card. Maybe they'll play it. Notably, they have 3 Goryos in their graveyard, which is kind of interesting. Namo does say that we have the ring. They picked up a Thoughtseize. Again, joke's on them. It's not like that's going to do anything. So we're going to Spell Pierce this, because otherwise they take it. So maybe they note that they do have a blue card for Tainted Indulgence. So yeah, they can see that we have flooded out horrendously badly. We'll suspend that. But in case it's not clear, we are super, super dead right now. But we're at least up a game, so this should take us back to parity, and then hopefully we can get there game 3. I'm not going to show them any cards that they don't already know about in our deck. Maybe somehow I can string together something with like the Profane if it resolves. It's not going to resolve. They really have managed to not string their combo together either, though, but at least they're drawing cards that do things, like interaction and whatnot. They burn their Tainted Indulgence. They have 7 cards in hand. We know Goryos, we know an ending, and I think they used one of these Ephemerates. Not sure. Alright, so we continue. Oracle is certainly a card. Not one that we need. I just played that on the side. It doesn't really matter which. What do they get? They get... What are they playing with 3? Oh, okay, they're flashing back Faithful. Sure. They finally hit an Atraxa. They have 17 cards left in their deck. They've gotten tremendously unlucky themselves. Unless they like boarded out Atraxas or something. I don't really know what has happened here for them though. There's a Grizzlebrand, so that's gonna be death. So they are gonna go for it here. The interesting thing is they could shred our hand, but like they need to actually be a little bit careful because they only have 13 cards left in their deck. I mean, okay, sure, they'll hit us to 11. They can draw a bunch. Sure, they can Ephemerate. Sure. I mean, they're going to counter this, and then that's going to be the game, is what's going to happen right here. Yeah. Right on time. Alright, so we'll scoop it up there. We can't beat that. So, game 3. I'm interested in changing anything around a little bit. I think I like what we have going on. Am I more interested in Pentad for trying to like outrace them? Maybe a little bit. I'm also a little bit more interested in this land again. Do I want these ley lines just for the grief? I mean, grief Ephemerate is scary. A little less interested in the Dramoka. Okay, maybe we go like this. We just cut the Dromoka for the land. Maybe we leave the Dromoka. Cut a Preordain. Dromoka's a meme. Definitely a meme. But it's pretty good with Lotus Bloom. Sometimes they don't expect it. Do need to watch out for the value nauses with like 4 Leylines and a Dromoka in our deck, though. We would like to play first. This hand is... it's a keep. This is one of the situations where Leyline is awful, because now we have 4 dead cards in our deck. I'm going to lead on Thoughtseize. We can't really let them scam us on turn 1. So do have Force, Commandeer, Ephemerate, Grief. They don't have a black card for Grief, but when they do, Grief Ephemerate will kill us. So I think I'm actually going to discard the Grief. The interesting thing is, if they commandeer our spoils, then they maybe kill themselves with our spoils. That would be glorious. Dromoka. Not what we needed. Preordain. I mean, we can retry that. Preordain. Round 2. Profane? Profane is like okay. Do I want a Profane? I'll take it. I think this is going to be a little bit slower of a game, so it does represent the ability to get an important piece, maybe a pact to stop some of their counter magic or something. This could also turn into a Dromoka game. Pact, okay. So honestly, now what I need is like a Pentad. Ring is going to be a little bit risky to cast because, again, they have... I mean, they used... Wait, no, they surveilled away a Faithful Mending, I think? Yeah, so now they're Faithful Mendinging. They have Force. They ditch an Atraxa. They could definitely Goryos here. I would be a little bit lucky that they found all of the pieces basically off of 3 cards. They used their Marsh slots. They have Ephemerate, Force, Commandeer, 2 unknowns. Yes, they can fetch with the Delta. Is it Flashback Mending? It's Teferi. Alright. So, I mean, one question is, do I think that they have... Well, if I draw a land, and this shuts down our Profane. If I draw... Well, I did not draw a land. I drew the worst card in my deck. We're looking pretty dead here. So I was going to say, if we draw a land, we actually, I think, do play the Ring there and hope that they have to force it and can't commandeer it. Now we're just mega dead. I can't have pacted the Teferi just because I'm dead if I do. I have no follow-up. Now it's too risky to play the Ring, even had I drawn a mana for it. Adnals is also a very bad draw here. Yeah, maybe in hindsight, no, I think it's reasonable to keep Profane there. When I beat what I should be trying to beat what I know I need to beat versus trying to beat what I might have to beat. Right, so like I know they have the Commandeer and Force of Negation. Yeah, Force of Negation. The Profane helps with that. And I mean, okay, maybe they do top deck a Teferi, but like, what do I do about that? I can't do anything about that. All right, we're dead. We can pack it up. All right, so last round. Let's see what happens. So we are on the play. We have interesting hand that I am going to keep, double Lotus Bloom. And then we have a Thoughtseize and some cantrips. So, alright, we're going to suspend these Lotus Blooms, and then I'm actually going to play this Thoughtseize before I play these cantrips, so I know what I need to cantrip looking for. Okay, so Bitter Reunion, 2 Lightning Bolts. Our opponent is on Creativity. So I'm going to get rid of one of these Bitter Reunions because their hand is terrible, and I don't want to give them more opportunities to make their hand better. The Lightning Bolts are not real cards. The lands, I mean, sure, a land is a land. But this Bitter Reunion lets them turn cards that don't do things into cards that do things. So we will take that away. Okay, so here we can Slight. That's bad. Play a Pathway. And then Preordain. And, I mean, do we want both of these? That's kind of tough. I think we have so much mana that I don't want the Oracle, I do want the Unlife. Because I can go for an Admiral's line if I find either potentially a Spoils, although the Spoils might be risky to go for an Admiral's line. Well, yeah, maybe I should have actually kept both. That was... Yeah, because I with only one Admiral's, I can't really go Spoils into Admiral's. I mean, there's a chance. Basically, I need to bet that I have one Oracle below my Admiral's. I would bet that. That's 80% likelihood. I drew Ren in 6. Okay, and we pick up a Spoils, so that's decent. We will play the Unlife here. We just had the whole combo on top, so that's nice. So next turn we'll have 9 mana. So if we Spoils for Gnaws, that's 6. We have, yeah, so we at the minimum, unless they like Bitter Reunion into a Silence, they don't even have white mana, right? No, they don't have white mana. So they might not be like the white version of Creativity. But we do have an 80% chance of winning next turn with the Spoils. We also could top deck. Actually, I know that I Preordained Scryed an Oracle to the bottom. Or no, I slighted an Oracle to the bottom, but still. So we're actually just locked, assuming that they don't have any sort of interaction. Pick up an Arid Mesa, but they can't play it. They don't have white mana. So, I mean, they can play this Bitter Reunion, but it's not going to matter. Yeah, they ditch one of these bolts, sure. But now we get it. Double Bloom. And make some sort of saying here. Double Bloom spells Doom. It's double Bloom, get it? Doom. No? Yeah? Alright. It spells Doom for someone. In this case, it spells Doom for our opponent. Alright, so we're going to Spoils for Adnals. Adnals is the 3rd from bottom card in our deck. Did we see this off of some? I don't think we saw this. It was lit. This is a crazy line. That was a ridiculous line. We would have actually lost had we not seen that Oracle go to the bottom. Okay, well, we get there, and yeah, interesting times against Creativity. So let's see if we can win the next one and make this a 4-1. Okay, so I'm boarding in Pacts, Pierce, all that good stuff. I think I'd rather attack their ability to resolve Creativity than worry about fighting it after the fact with Leyline, so I'm not really that interested in Leyline. Jace could be okay, but I don't really feel like I need it. The extra Unlife could definitely be useful, although they do have the ability to remove. Maybe I'll overtax it, though. Cut a couple slights. On the draw, we can cut a land. Maybe I don't need the second on life. This hand is interesting. I mean, it potentially has all the combo. It has a pack to protect it. I'm going to keep it, but we do need to draw lands. We can preordain for a land on turn 1, and then hopefully suspend a profane on turn 2. I mean, we pick up the Grace, so that's good. And it is just that we need lands. I should have played this preordain and then... Okay. Yeah, I mean, we keep that. So I'm not keeping the Oracle because if I get like discarded or something, I can get it with a Profane, and I really just need to ensure that I'm hitting more lands. So I should have played the Preordain and then paid for it using the City. That just makes it so that you can't misclick if there's like a damage from the City of Brass. Opponent passes. On life, okay. On life is okay, but we need land. I can use one of these Profanes to get the 4th land as long as I draw a 3rd land next turn. If I don't draw a 3rd land next turn, everything gets set back by a turn. And then I have to suspend the other Profane and then get a land and then try and get my 4th land with the other Profane the next turn, which is possible, but not a fun place to be in. Now, our opponent is not winning on their next turn either, so that's good. I mean, they could certainly have some sort of interaction. If they have like a Teferi, we probably have to Pact Grace it, but they're not really playing the version that has Teferi based on their lands. They're playing like Jund Creativity, it looks like. And maybe they're... I guess they're probably 4-color with white, but I have yet to see white. Okay, I mean, Wrenn and 6 is not really a relevant card. Land? It could be a land. And again, I mess up the City of Brass. Okay. Do I want Pact also? Well, the Profane's going to come off Suspend, and I'm not going to get it. I will actually still put it on top, just in case. I will suspend this Preordain because, again, in case maybe there's a world where I need it. Like the next turn. So now we're in a position to Pact whatever their play is, and then Grace, and then get the land with the Profane, and then win. So that's pretty exciting. If they go for a Creativity here, we can Pact it, although we could also just ditch on life and like not really worry about it. So, I mean, that's nice. That's definitely nice. They pick up their land, play it, I'm assuming. Fetch Dwarven Mine, go for Creativity? Or hold up some sort of interaction. Hold up Silence, maybe? Go for an Upkeep Silence. Fable. Fable does not matter. It means they're down to 1 mana. I'm slightly reading this as Upkeep Silence. But we have the Pact for it. They would have played Silence if they had it. So now we can go get a Gemstone Mine. Draw for turn. Play the mine. Suspend the bloom. Cast the Thassa's Oracle. Let the city trigger resolve. Let the Oracle resolve. Hold priority. Spoils of the Vault. Hold priority. Angel's Grace. with Pact of Negation in hand. What do you have, opponent? They've got nothing, and we get the 4-1. So we ended up getting the 4-1. All of the rounds that we won were not close, and the one round we lost was pretty close. So that actually felt surprisingly good. Now, that being said, we did not play against a selection of decks that was very representative of Modern as a whole right now. But I was actually more impressed than I thought I was going to be with how the current version of Adnals did. And this probably convinced me to mess around with it more, and I'm going to lose a whole bunch when I play against decks that are real decks right now. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. This was a return to actual Ad Nauseam. No more just calling everything Nauseams, even if they aren't. This time we are playing the card Ad Nauseam in Modern in the year 2024, and it actually worked. We still beat red decks. We still beat decks that don't have interaction. Grief's pretty tough. Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, keep naming Simian Spirit Guide with your spoils of the vault, and take care.